Greater Good Radio. Connect, learn, heal, and grow.
I was always a closeted gay, never open, and only recently, and it's because of the news, being out, being public, talking about Mahu, doing Mahu episodes. I need to accept myself more so then I can turn around and tell these stories without this barrier between me. Like, I don't want to be a hypocrite when I'm telling stories. So everything that I'm learning and I talk with people, I do internalize it and digest it and try to see how it impacts me and what I can take away from it. I mean, if it's being Mahu, why not accept it, talk about it? Because there's somebody out there who's going to listen to you.
But is Mahu actually gay, or is
That's
Mahu
a
just,
whole nother
or is the
conversation.
piece that like Mahu? My understanding from that Kumuhina video that I saw online with like the cartoons was that it was just Mahu can embody male and female at the same time, but there wasn't necessarily sexuality. Or am I wrong, or
No,
what? Like,
well,
how does this work?
So there's so many levels that it's still foreign to me, and I'm slowly becoming more aware of it. But I mean, there's Mahu in the context of Mahu. What does it mean, homosexual, in a dictionary context?
What does it mean in Hawaiian terms? Like Hawaiian back in the day, like what would it mean then?
Well, back then, I think Kumuhina, the way that she expresses it, seems to be the more generalized understanding, where it's kind of like a space in the middle of the two. It's definitely not in this Western sense, you're gay, you're straight. It's different than that. So that's why when you talk about Mahu, Kumuhina, she told me, you're not Mahu. So I'm like, oh, okay. But in a dictionary, yeah, I'm Mahu. But in this context of what Mahu is, I guess in today, Mahu is like, Mary, like much more prominent and expressive. And to me, she's more so like, you're a gay guy. You don't have that Mahu character. So, I mean, there's so many different layers now when you look at it.
So what kind of definition is she using? Is she using like today's definition then of that, or like the one that she's showing inside the video?
In the video, but I think in more of a current way, when we say, oh, you're Mahu, I don't fit that context. That's cool with me. But yeah, it's such a realm that I'm still foreign to. So I'm really fortunate because I've been a lot more outspoken. Even I've been doing Universal Show Queen, co-hosting that for the past few years. And that's like the largest drag competition.
Oh.
First of all, never talking in front of people was never my forte. Now it's becoming so. A God thing, because I don't feel I have the ability to speak. But what if I don't think about that and I just talk? Apparently people listen. But if you were to speak in front of a room of Mahus, that's the one room that would rip you a new and they would not be afraid to heckle you and come back.
So how was that experience?
It was liberating, really, the first time, because I got through it and they asked me back. And
so you felt like accepted?
I felt accepted because, see, one thing when I first started to do much more public speaking, I felt like you had to have a niche. You cannot just talk, because when you look at other people, they're either comedians, they're singers, there's another thing that carries them. So when I first started this, I tried to be funny. And I thought it was like, okay, I could do this. I'm not a comedian. Because I realized every time I try to say a joke, it flops. But I'm humorous, I think, when I'm just being me. And one person told me, you're very quirky. And at first that really threw me off. Like, I take umbrage to that. But then after, when I'm thinking about it and I look at what quirky means, and I really just kind of sit down and wonder, what kind of person am I? Like, yeah, I am quirky. I am even flamboyant. I had to look at what flamboyant means, because when you hear flamboyant, it sounds like, oh, you're gay, like you're flaming. But when you look in flamboyant, because Prince Kuhio and King Kalakaua was known as a flamboyant person. If you read, it says flamboyant person. So I'm like, oh, was he gay? Well, you read into it, you're very personable, you're very expressive, you're very friendly. And, so even just words that we think of today, to actually take the time to learn about it. And that's my thing, is I just want to learn. And I've been an open sponge, and there's a term Maya Angelou shares: when you get, give; when you learn, teach. And these are little things that inspire me. So, I mean, connecting it back to Tutu, as I get older, then I just come across these little phrases or little things that connect with me. And that's the next thing, that it's like a little food that helps me to be inspired to go to the next step.
If you resonate with Greater Good Radio, please join our community at www.greatergoodradio.com, where you can get access to exclusive content and offerings. Hope to see you soon.